whatever it is you want to do, go for it.
Dream is hard. If you don't live your dream, it's still hard. You might as well pick the harder with the best benefit.
You don't have to see the whole staircase, just a step.
Nothing worth having is going to come easy.
From my tears came my treasure, which is the single wife.
Your setbacks are really a setup for something else.
Hi guys, welcome to this episode of Conversations. Today I'm going to be sitting down and speaking with a young lady, a native of Atlanta, which is very rare indeed, but we are here with Nicole Garner. She is the CEO of the Garner Circle PR, and we're going to find out about her life, her accomplishments, and how she got through it all right here on Conversations. How you doing, Nicole?
I'm good. How are you?
I am awesome. First of all, I want to say thank you for agreeing to do the interview with me. I haven't been in Atlanta long, but when I got here, you were one of the people that I do observe folks. That's just something I do. And I think through observing people, you can kind of see what they're really like, more than lip service. Right. And so as I followed you and followed your success, I just realized you were more of a people's person, very open, just real chill. So we're going to learn a little bit more, though, because I don't know. I can't say I don't know everything. I don't know everything about her, but we're going to find out today. So first off, tell everybody, about your background.
Sure. Well, I'm from Atlanta, born and raised. I went to Westlake High School, Georgia State University, and then FIT in New York afterwards for postgraduate. And I just have a love for public relations and entrepreneurship as a whole. Public relations is my strong suit, and it's what has gotten me to the point where I am, but I definitely have the mission upon my life to be a serial entrepreneur. So there's other things that I'm working on and platforms that I'm doing now too that are becoming successful in their own right. So it's been an interesting journey.
Awesome. So tell us something about young Nicole Garner. When did you know that PR was something you wanted to do?
Well, young Nicole Garner, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur since young. I was the candy lady, the lemonade stands, all those different things. Sold everything to my friends. My parents used to be like, listen, that's your birthday gift. You can't try to resell it. And I'm like, if it can make money. But luckily, I had the excellent parental guidance to help put that in the right direction, because that can go wrong very quickly, too, when you have that type of initiative inside of you. But went to college knowing that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just didn't know what it was. And just that first year, I just kind of struggled, like, what can I do? What's my calling? What's my purpose? And had an excellent mentor that kind of stepped into my life, and we assessed my skills, and I realized I loved writing. I loved planning events, and I loved connecting the dots between people. If you ever needed something, I knew somebody who did something, Right. And so that came natural to me. That was who I was in elementary, middle school, and high school. Leading up to college, I was that connector person, and that came very natural to me. So when I got to college and I kind of figured out what those skill points were, then I was opened to the world of public relations. And public relations around that time was still kind of new age in this market. Right. When I decided that's what I wanted to do, my family was like, what is public relations? And you going to go to school for that? You going to pay for that? And my grandmother still to this day calls me a publisher. So, it was kind of new in that realm, especially in the city of Atlanta. Of course, New York and LA, it was PR firms on every corner, but Atlanta, it was a smaller industry at that time. And I remember sitting in class one day, and I had this Essence magazine, and it was this article on Marvette Brito, and she was this young African-American woman. She was fly. She was doing PR, and I was like, yes, that's it. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to be, which is so interesting now. But, I saw that, and then I just started to really thrust myself into the world of PR. I opened up the Garner Circle actually my last year of college. And my internship, I had multiple internships, and actually my internship provider ended up being my first client. hiring me out and saying, hey, are you ready to go? Let's do this.
Oh, wow.
And I remember changing my voicemail on my cell phone to "You've reached the desk of Nicole Garner," and all my friends were like, "You don't have a business. What is this? I want to order pizza." Just being, just being crazy. Yeah, I was like, just wait and see. It's all going to come together. I'm speaking into existence. And now, even when I run into those same friends, they all are like, "Wow, you said you were going to do it back then, but you really did it and brought it to life." When I graduated, I still went and worked for an agency for some time. And they lost some of their major accounts and had some cutbacks. And so I had to decide, do I want to do this? Do I really want to do this full time? Or do I want to keep on working? And I sat and felt like, what better time is it to do this, than to jump out on faith. And I already had been doing it. Basically, I had a 9 to 5 and a 5 to 9 with the Garner Circle. And just jumped out and started doing it, and just recently we celebrated 9 years, so it's been going.
Awesome. So there were some things you mentioned while giving us the history on what spurred you to get to this point today. The first thing you mentioned that your inspiration that said, Marvette, what was her last name?
Brito.
And you were like, oh, wow, that's what I want. How important do you think that is for especially young black women? Like you said, this was an industry that was quite unheard of for our people. Let's just say it. It is. And it was new to especially this market. So now you're seeing something that looks like you, and you're like, okay, yeah, that's what I want to do. So how important do you think it is for us to have those, or for you to be one of those positive images that young girls coming up can see and compare themselves to?
I think it's mandatory to have that. There's still women that I use as inspiration daily. And it's always needed to see. Now, to me, what's amazing is when I see women who can be these power women and still run their family and run their household and still be a great wife. I'm like, oh, you are doing it. And everyone, yes, I am a Beyonce fan, but the fact that she could get married, have a child, have this mega career, still be protective of her child, and still run the world at the same time is amazing to me. So that continues to be an inspiration, and I always make sure that I monitor the energy I put out there and my brand and what I'm preaching for those people, because you never know who's watching. And I think we live in a sensationalized world, so it has to be some balance. It has to be some people who are on Instagram not just doing selfies but putting out positive information. Yeah.
And that's, like I said, that's one of the things that I noticed about you while following you. Just being from afar and just seeing, I always tell people that you're being watched. Regardless if you want to be watched or not, people are observing you, and they're going to come to some kind of conclusion about your life and who you are. Right. And so that's the importance of, making sure that we do put out those positive images. So when I do follow you, and especially your Instagram, it's so motivational, girl. Because some days I'm just like, I'm through with it. And then it's like, okay, you're right, keep going. Right. So another thing you mentioned was that your last year is when at the internship and they became your first client. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because there is an importance in how you behave and how your work ethic is where you are right now. Because there are some people who say, well, I'm an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter how I am on my job. This is just my 9 to 5. It's never just your 9 to 5.
Right.
So talk about how that influenced them becoming your clients.
I put in the extra mile every single day, went above and beyond, and I still do that now, and I feel like that's why our doors are still open. I just feel like you have to put yourself in a position where you're passionate about it so that you can go further than the average person, because that's going to be the only thing that keeps you around or gives you longevity. When you just do the bare minimum that's required, then you could be replaced very easily. And it was a project where the project I worked on was getting African-American boys to sign up to be pilots. Wow. And it was I didn't know the numbers were so drastic then. And it was so powerful. We got to take all these young boys to D.C., and they got to go through the aviation museums, and they got a chance to do flight simulations. And these are people that probably would never get a chance to get on a plane at all, or things of that nature. And now their eyes were being open to getting a chance to experience actually being a pilot. It was a program through Delta, and I was so passionate about it. It didn't, I just wanted to call media and be like, you have to cover this.
Right.
Like, how could you not cover it? And I just emotionally made a lot of those hits happen. Like, I took the time to really get on the phone with editors and say, hey, this is something that needs light shown upon it, because it's something that you probably won't even think of, and it's a career that the ratio of people participating is so drastic, and through Delta, these boys got a chance to get their entire pilot license at no cost, and just it probably turned the light around for most of them. Wanted to be in sports or music or whatnot, and this gave them a whole other avenue of something to do, and you get to go all across the world. So I was very passionate about it, and my internship noticed that passion, and I took that into other projects. And even to this day, I only take on clients I'm passionate about, because you have to really believe in it if you're going to push it, And so if it's something that's crazy, then I'm just like, my spirit is not going to allow me to really work on this project wholeheartedly. So I still do that to this day.
And then you also talked about how you had the naysayers at the beginning of your journey. How do you overcome that? If you're just going into something and, like you said, you have the passion, but you may not have the support. How did you overcome that?
I think that when it's in its infancy stage, you don't have to tell everybody about it. Right? Like, there's a few positive people around you, and tell them, because in its infancy stage, when people start saying, that's not going to work, that's a dumb idea, it's such a baby of an idea that you're going to allow that to maybe stop you, halt you in your steps, pause whatever it is you're doing. So find those supportive people. Once you get it rolling, don't have the expectation that everybody's going to be on board. And many times your friends and family members are the last ones to get on board, too, because they're the most concerned about your well-being. If they can't automatically see how it translates into your well-being, then they're the ones to be like, do you want to get a real job? Do you want benefits? Because they feel like if you don't have benefits, I got to help you when you're at the hospital.
It's not negative that, they're trying to stop you. It's just, like you said,
Right.
They have that defense mechanism for you.
Exactly.
They're trying to make sure that you'll be okay. So their mind is like, okay, you need a real job. So
Right, and then also years ago, what it is that you're trying to do may not have worked. In the time where they were formulating their thoughts and their opinions, I don't think 20 years ago I could run the type of PR firm I have now. And I also know 20 years from now, this PR firm will have to completely restructure itself and be ahead of the curve. So I didn't even fault a lot of people for not believing in it, because it was just not a common thing to many people around me, and I think that you just block the naysayers. And then also, in my space, there's a lot of strangers that are very supportive. Like, women really bond together. Entrepreneurs bond together. It might not be your immediate circle, but you might put something on Instagram and find more positive people than you will in your own network. And those are people that you connect with.
What was the hardest thing or hardest obstacle for you?
In life or in business?
In business.
The hardest obstacle for me, in the beginning, probably was delegation, because it had my name on the company. I was a micromanager in the beginning. I never said no. I didn't balance, and I didn't properly delegate. And then when I was running myself thin and to the ground, then I realized I had to restructure my own mindset of how you run a business. And the best thing was I read The 4 Hour Work Week, and that completely changed my mind. And my dad used to say, if you want your business to grow, you have to work on the business sometimes, not always be in the business. And that's when I really started hiring out people and just doing a lot of different things to kind of give me some balance in life.
Okay. Now, I like that. You got to work on it, not in it. I like that. That's good. Okay. So what about some of your struggles in life that have attributed to who you've become or made you as strong as you have been to be able to pursue such an endeavor as the PR circle, the Garner Circle?
Struggles in life, I did not come from a very well-to-do background, and so my entrepreneurism was probably driven by you got to figure out a way on some of these things. And also, I would just say things in life didn't come easy, so I'm never scared to get my hands dirty. You know, I think a lot of people it gets really hard. And in entrepreneurism, it gets really, really hard sometimes. And some nights you're sitting there like, this is rough. And I feel like I've been through other things in my life that were rougher, so I got through those. So with this, it's like, okay, well, I can get through this. You know, I did the financial struggles in college. I did I was telling you earlier, like, I thought that we were pretty well-to-do, and I got to college, and my family was like, well, you had to get a job or something. You're 18, and you were out the house. And I was like, all my friends are getting these big care packages in the mail, and I was like, where's my care package? Where's my stuff? And they were like, job, J-O-B. So it made me very creative, and I realized that I have a confidence knowing that if everything fails, I can still rely on myself to pull myself back up. So if things bottom out, then I know that I can sit there and think for a minute on how to get a check. and it would come. And then, of course, my belief in God and my strength in God and being able to pray is, God is the main reason I'm still open at this time. So,
yeah. Okay, so what keeps you humble? Because I know one of my biggest fears when I was making the move to Atlanta, I was like, I can't stand these fake people everywhere.
And you can't do it.
Exactly. I was like, there's just too many fake ones down there. I just can't do it. So I end up here. And, so it's refreshing when you meet someone that isn't. So what keeps you humble?
Friends and family. I don't surround myself around people that just tell me yes or, are fine with me being stagnant or whatnot. In every part of my life, I have people in my life that push me to do more. If I get really comfortable, if I stop exercise, I have friends that are like, come on, meet me at the gym, and I could be thinking I'm cute. And they're like, it's time for you to get back into this gym. And family member, my dad is always asking me, like, what's your goal? What's your plan? What's your 60-day goal? What's your 5-year plan? What do you want to leave behind? Well, all these different things I never get a chance to just relax and be like, I'm lazy and I don't care. It's just, I don't have people around me that allow me to be that, nor am I that type of friend to anyone either. If by the time I consider you to be a really good friend, then I'm very invested in seeing you grow. And you're giving me that same type of energy back.
Awesome stuff. Okay, so let's talk about community service and giving back. Speaking of, you have a few programs. Talk about, is it the Lemonade Stand? Yes. Talk about that.
I recently launched the Pink Lemonade Stand Foundation, and it is the mission of it is to foster entrepreneurship in girls 8 through 17 years old. And I always say when I was younger, I didn't necessarily have a lot of entrepreneurial women that I could look up to. And even when I got older, as far as mentorship, it was not, those doors weren't as easily opened. I felt like there were male counterparts that would mentor, take you under their wing, and show you advice very easily. And I did not get that same energy in the female space as throughout my own experience of just growing up. And so I felt like it was very key to show a lot of these young girls entrepreneurship, true entrepreneurship at a young age, like financially, and how do you pitch your company, and how do you save your money, and all these different things, not just, I'm doing this because it's fun or it's a hobby, but really showing how you can create the life you want to live from it. So very excited about that project.
Awesome. And then also you have the Entrepreneurship Ivy League. Yes. Talk about that.
The Entrepreneurs Ivy League is basically the adult version of that.
I joined.
It's an online platform that will have content and courses for entrepreneurship and growth. And so it'll show you how to build, sustain, or launch your business. And I think in the multicultural space, there are a lot of things that aren't mentioned. I think that everyone knows how to do a business plan. It's just, do they want to or not? And the other basics of business, but what about how to properly prepare a pitch package, how to submit yourself for our RFP process, how to, just different things that will take you to the next level, and there's not a lot of mentorship happening in that space. I know some of my counterparts that went to true Ivy League schools and were learning fundamental things at 18, 19 years old. And the thing of the matter is, when I went to a recent conference, South by Southwest, there's 16 and 17-year-olds developing platforms similar to Facebook and apps similar to Instagram and making millions at 16 and 17. So, but you have to know how to make millions, though, not just the idea, but the other things that come along with it. So I was very passionate about starting the Entrepreneurs Ivy League to give that additional information access to people that need it.
Awesome. It's a great program. I encourage you, if you are an entrepreneur, make sure you go check that out, because I get good information from it. So it's definitely a great place to be. And before we go, I always ask this question. What is it that you would like to leave as a legacy?
Building and living it now is showing people that you actually can do it. Like, if you put your mind to it, you can do it. I didn't come from the space where a lot of people are doing what I'm doing, and it would have been really easy for me to take another path and be in a completely different space in my life right now, having like 50 kids and everything else. But I just feel like if it's inside you, you can live it, you can dream it, you can believe in it, it could come to life. You just got to do it, and it's hard. The thing of the matter is, it's hard either way. If you live your dream, it's hard. If you don't live your dream, it's still hard. So you might as well pick the harder with the best benefits. Right. And so I want to leave that behind, and definitely that was the reason for doing the foundation. It's just creating those opportunities and knowledge platforms for people to be able to get into the world of entrepreneurship.
I love it. It is Nicole Garner. She is the CEO of the Garner Circle PR agency. Make sure you guys check this lady out. She is on the rise. Trust me, 9 years here in Atlanta. That's just the beginning. Just the beginning. We're going to see so much more from her. Thank you so much, Nicole.
Thank you.
All right. And thank you guys for tuning in to Conversations. On the next Conversations, former Danity Kane member and recording artist, D. Woods.
Because, sometimes it's not about how good you are, how talented you are. If you don't have the right mindset, you can mess up your own, opportunity just because you ain't mentally ready.